What's up, everybody? My name is Michael Rich Diarera, aka Dynamic, aka Dime. Welcome to Heartbeat of America. Before I get into what Heartbeat of America is all about, I'm gonna give a little introduction of myself. Um, I'm a medical student, always gonna be a student in that type of field. My main practice and scope of career path is neurology. I'm a medical assistant currently. I also dabble in music, artistry, and production. Heartbeat of America is mainly episodes of how I dive into the problems that we face in America today, solutions, uh, self individuality, business oriented, everything that encompasses America and life itself is going to be covered within these episodes. And the main structure of the Heartbeat of America is built on. So this episode is called Building Self. In building self, you got to understand the loss, trauma, being tapped in. Those are the main three things that you, as an individual, need to know of building self. Because without self, how does anyone else really know you? But starting off, understanding the lost part of it. Comfortability. Comfortability is a big one. You could be comfortable in a situation and not knowing that it's the wrong situation, or you're even in the wrong, because you become so familiar with that comfortability and that's all you know. So understanding that lost part of the aspect, from there you could understand how to get out of that lost and proceed to grow and evolve. Being lost could come from generational passings. For instance, what you be getting taught could be wrong in so many different ways, but that's all they know. So it's just a compilation and a pile up of generational traumas that just keep getting passed down and passed down because no one wants to face shit. Everybody wants to normalize things and suppress things, which, yeah, it may help within that type of circumstance and time, but over the progression of time and generational growth and development, it becomes a blockade for most people. Don't get me wrong, there are people that could overcome those within those type of situations, but a lot of time most people just see it as a blockade and like, well, that's what other people done and nothing evolves. So with understanding that lost part and seeing all that type of shit within that, to build self, people got to take accountability for not only their actions but how they teach, how they perceive things, and how they develop those type of things that they believe into a scenario that could be revolutionized into something that could mean many different things. Meaning, what you are taught isn't always going to be correct. And hopefully the people that are teaching you and being your role models and chaperones of life to get you into a better position for yourself is taking that accountability to make sure that what they are presenting is correct. A lot of times that doesn't happen, and sometimes that leads to the feeling of being lost and being lost. So taking accountability of pretty much taking someone else under your wing or being that role model for somebody needs to be implemented. Another building block of building self individually is trauma. Trauma comes in many different forms, fashion. Every aspect of life has trauma, whether you like to see it or you don't see it or not. Facing it is the biggest thing. Facing it comes with strength and doing things without fear, which none of you should have fear in anything that you do in life. You're an individual. You are self. There's only one of you. Even if you have a twin, you may be duplicate in some aspects, but on the inside, the genetic makeup could be the same, but your mind and spirit and the essence that is you is unique and different in some aspect or another. But understanding the traumas that come with life and that could come with life upon whatever path you may take, facing those is without fear is the best way that you could stay in tune with yourself. And yes, there may be things in life that will trigger those traumas that may slow you down per se. Hopefully it just slows you down and doesn't limit you. If it's a limiting factor, you need to face those triggers, and also you need to look out for people that look out for your triggers and those types of individuals that may come in and out of your life. Because those people that just look for your triggers are just there to set you off and not there to help you evolve and become the best version of yourself. And if you're putting that type of energy into somebody or a community or in life in general, and that you ain't receiving that same energy back, you need to exclude yourself from that situation or group or whatever it may be. And understanding that and facing those traumas and polishing your triggers and becoming stronger than your triggers makes you more structurally sound, which is the best foundation and literally the middle point. Well, I shouldn't say middle point. I should say the starting point of knowing that you are on a better path of building yourself and becoming the best version of you. The last thing is staying tapped in. Sometimes life brings us distractions that could take you from that place of building and evolving state. It's not a bad thing. Life happens. That's what life is. It's with distractions, it's a beautiful thing. So staying tapped in also means listening instead of reacting. Because most times when people react, it's out of an unknowledgeable place. So if you listen, evaluate, then continue with a reaction is a better action to take if you just react right off the bat. A good example would be like, let's say you are around hatred or you are in an environment that isn't suitable or suiting your energy. A lot of times most people react right off the bat, but when a person does that, it becomes a 50-50 to an outlooking source. It's like, well, then it's a he said she said type situation. But if you let people cross the line a couple times, 3 or 4 times, then other people see how that group or individual or whatever it may be, a business, whatever type of entity it may be, they see how that structure actually is, and then that's when you could react. And hopefully it's just pulling yourself from that and letting them be miserable by themselves. But staying tapped in also means staying calm and staying centered. Once you find yourself out of your traumas and you have polished your traumas and healed yourself, then you have found your way to being centered. The best way I could put that is knowing you, like know yourself. Nobody else knows an individual like themselves, because everybody's unique in their own way. Yeah, we're all humans, we all bleed the same, but energy wise and what makes up us as human beings in the fabric of the universe is totally unique and not found amongst anybody else. So be yourself, and once you find that centering and knowing of self, then you're on the best path that you could possibly be. Just never let that go. And when you do get to that type of stage and enlightenment within yourself, there's going to be people that will always have something to say. People are going to have always something to say regardless. Let them talk. That's a lot of people talk from the bleachers anyways. You just stay playing your game. But yeah, the best advice I could give to you is, once you find yourself and you stay tapped in and you polish those traumas and you figured out the lost part of life, help that lost part of life, but don't try saving anybody. That's an individual's own path. If a lot of people don't want to be saved, people get comfortable, like I said before, in those environments, and that's just all they want to know, which to me is kind of sad, but it is what it is. So always stay true to yourself, stay tapped in, face your traumas, don't create trauma. Sometimes though, in situations, like I said, sometimes a person's gotta be dark to show the enlightenment part that was going on from the beginning. People look for triggers and just use that because they're sad in life. That has nothing to do with you. Just keep pushing on, live your life to the fullest, and the right energy will stay. Not only that, but everything that is meant to feed your energy and build you will be right there with you. So staying tapped in is the biggest part of that. Besides finding in your life, when you step back and view and look at your life from a perspective of lost. Are you lost? Are things around you lost that could contribute to you to becoming lost? So yeah, building self is a big part of refining and rebuilding America, because I feel like we lost our stars and stripes a long time ago to propaganda, misguidance, and Americans actually not upholding the word America and American, which happens. There's toxicity and parasites within every aspect of life, but us individuals that take on leadership roles need to make sure those situations do not happen, and we take that out of the picture. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank Dine Entertainment for the sponsorship. Also, like and subscribe to my Patreon. Tune in for upcoming episodes. Yeah, and I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by and listening to Heartbeat of America. Stay tuned. See you next time.